What are three upgrades that made a huge difference for me in my sim racing career, if we call it that? But looking back, I've been doing this thing for about 10 years. Starting off, from a controller, G29, desk, broke the desk, got a rig, moved it, went through the motions. Sometimes I took 2 steps forward, sometimes I took four when the floor wasn't even able to fit the feet, this kind of thing, leaping forward when I didn't have the correct motion of things, if you know what I mean. So in this video, I'm going to talk about three things that made a huge difference for me. And the root of this question comes from a conversation I had with someone who's looking to make the perfect rig for themselves. Everything. They're going all out. They were asking me what should they just get first, though. And I couldn't answer that question for them because there's obvious answers of what to get first. But I let them know three things that I thought were like a game changer for me. One of them, by the way, is super cheap, super accessible. You can even make it yourself, and it adds a better experience than a 25 Newton meter direct drive wheelbase. So honestly, that's one of the best ones. But in this video, I'm just going to chat, chill, and let you know my experience of how I got these upgrades and why they made sense to me and how they bettered my experience. Maybe they bettered performance, speed, general immersion, but in general, it all falls under the triangle of immersion. So if you enjoyed the video at any point, don't forget to go down and GG the feck out of that like button and subscribe as well. I'd love to have you around. So that out of the way, shameless plug. Let's move on. So first things first is the rig. That's number one. This is an upgrade I done 2 months ago. I probably should have done it a long time ago, but sure, some of the more flashy things were a bit more attractive at the time than getting a lump of aluminium. But it really suited me getting a rig because it was weird. I had a 10 Newton meter wheelbase before, the SimMagic Alpha Mini, and I was really looking at getting new wheelbases. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to spend all this money on wheelbases, and I was prepared to spend about 1,000 or something like that. I said, I'm just going to take the good advice. I know in my gut what I need to do. I don't have a proper aluminium rig. I have a rig that flexes. When I brake, my wheel moves up. That's how much, when I brake, it moves stuff. It's all intrinsically connected. So I knew the rig had to go. The old rig had to go. So I got the TR160 from Track Racer. Got a couple of accessories with it. Got the seat mount and all that. I have my own seat. Love my own seat. And I was astonished. It brought my wheelbase back to life, first of all. That's like a wild thing. You can get extra value out of your wheelbase by having a proper non-flex rig, which I thought was... It is pretty obvious now that I say it out loud like that, but it wasn't obvious to me at the time. I knew it'd be great, and I knew my wheel would feel super on a no-flex system, I wouldn't be able to move it. Because of my rig flexing, and it was kind of elastic, imagine it like an elastic band, and this is like a lump of steel. When my wheelbase was turning, it was turning into the rig, and the rig was kind of absorbing some of the force, the fidelity, some of the minute details that the wheelbase is trying to communicate to me. But now with this rig, it's like I could feel everything. It brought my Alpha Mini, well, firstly, it made my Alpha Mini into something that I'd never felt before. It felt stronger. That could be a placebo, but I'll go with it. It felt stronger. I could feel much more detail. It was just rock solid. It was rock solid and telling me everything I wanted. I had seen the Mini in a way I'd never seen it before, and that was all by just upgrading my rig. Not to mention the benefits of having a solid pedal tray, a solid place to put your seat. That way when you brake and you work the pedals, you're not moving, the rig's not moving. The only thing moving are the pedals at your control, literally at your feet. So, everywhere it makes a big, big difference. It looks cool. It's easy to clean. It's modular. It's like I can hoover under this thing because I put it on standoffs. It floats on the ground. Honestly, it was one of the best things I've ever done getting a rig. So highly recommended getting a rig, getting a decent rig if you're looking into that. By the way, it's worth saying, you don't need to get any of this gear, but for the same reason someone doesn't need to spend 10,000 euro on a scope when they already have a scope for a sniper rifle, if they're an enthusiast, it doesn't have to make sense. That's what we tell ourselves, and it works. Number two, a decent set of pedals. This is obvious, but it's worth mentioning. I know it's the cliche, get yourself load cell pedals, it'll change your life, man. It's not, that's not what I'm going at here, but it kind of is. Having a decent set of pedals, because when you're sim racing, you like to go fast, and the main way you manipulate the car is one, through the steering, but where the higher level manipulation comes is through the footwork. You can induce rotation, power on, you can manage tires, you can turn, you can brake, you can stop, you can lift the car, move the balance, all with the footwork. That's your acceleration and deceleration, and that's the way you can control the car. obviously with your steering. But a decent pair of load cell pedals, like I use the SimMagic P1000s. I came from the VNMs, and personally I thought like SimMagic are a supporter of the channel. They sent me these P1000s. I thought I'd just try them for a week or two and I'd go back to my VNMs. More expensive, I thought was better. These just worked better with me. But do try out pedal sets if you have the option to, or if you are looking for pedals. Look at plenty of reviewers. Lawrence de Soswa, Boosted Media, Race Beyond Matter. These guys, go-to guys they are. They're honestly some of the best guys for reviews and really getting down and deep, each with their own unique passion. So check them out if you're looking to buy something and you don't have the opportunity to try it. But yeah, load cell pedals, a decent set of pedals on a decent tray, mounted on a decent rig. That can be a lethal combination and really let you have a great time. You know, if you want to clutch and do all this fancy stuff, drift and heel tone, you know, it's nice to have a decent set of pedals that can put up with the use and abuse, and ideally one that's toolless to change. You know what I mean? Like these P1000s, you don't need tools to change them. Get some that are adjustable. So if you can buy a brake performance kit for them, do get it, because it's nice to have the options there of springs and different elastomers. And yeah, for me, it was just pedals made a huge, huge difference. Really, I probably should have got, like, back when I got the V&Ms, I defo should have got a decent rig first. But I knew I wanted to get a good rig before I moved, or after I moved, because I didn't want to get a rig, make it when I was expecting to move in a few weeks or months. So hence why I kind of moved, and then I timed the arrival of the rig to the arrival in the new place like that. Bang. I was never rigless. I was actually, sorry, I tell a lie. 2 days I was rigless. I'll put it down to weather with DHL. Number 3, which is a cool one, and it's very easy to get, to buy if you want a Christmas gift, or if your partner's asking you if you want a Christmas gift. You can get them quite cheap. It is a Rev Light bar. These things are game changers. They're honestly unreal, because what it does is, you know, you race, let's say iRacing. Most of you guys are iRacing fans. You follow me for iRacing and all that stuff. So we're into like circuit racing, you know, lights on the dash, popping up, shifting at the proper time, squeezing the most out of that car like a wet rag. And you see those lights on the screen light up, but they're not LEDs. It's your screen. You know, real LEDs, they really light in your face. You know, I could have an LED over here, and you could be looking at me, but the LED could be going off, and you'll see that it's going off in your peripheral vision. You don't have to look at it. That's why they're LEDs in real race cars. But unfortunately, on the screen, you're limited because it's a crap screen. You know what I mean? Screens don't show LEDs. Did have a dream once where they could do that in the future, and I bet you they will. I'll be back to cash in that bet. But defo, the Rev Light bar is a game changer, because what I did personally, I super glued it to the bottom of my monitor. Questionable, sure. I tried Velcro, it fell off. I tried blue tack, it got warm and fell off. I really wanted to try this thing and I didn't want to wait. The super glue came out. Super glued it on, never looked back. And it's great because you could be racing and you can fully customize it in SimHub. So if you want it to last a bit longer on the revs, a bit less on the revs, you want to customize it car by car, that's fine. It's absolutely amazing. And one thing it's amazing for is if you like to race with no steering wheel, that way you don't, no steering wheel in iRacing. You don't have to rely on the rev lights on the steering wheel in game. You can just use your own rev light bar and work with that through sound, through the lights. And you know, when you have 16 lights, blue, flashing at you, you know when you need to shift. And you can see it so well in your peripheral vision that you don't even need to think about it anymore. So honestly, that's probably the number one thing I've done on my rig, because that falls into immersion. Really changes everything, because you can get triples, a nice rig, nice wheel, nice pedals, God, everything, haptics, button boxes, you name it, you can get it. You take someone who has all that stuff, put this rev light bar just below their monitor, watch the face of delight on them, because it's really like the simulators coming out at them. Bright LEDs flashing in your face, 10 out of 10. 100%. So that's pretty much the video of the top 3 things that made the biggest difference for me in iRacing. Now, what I want from you guys, let me know yours down below. What were 3 of the biggest upgrades that changed your experience in sim racing? You let me know down below. For me, it's the rig, the pedals, and then the rev light bar. Just to have the lights flash at you, it feels aggressive. It feels like, you know, you're connected to the car's coming out at you. You know, it's really, really impressive stuff. But you can just go on Etsy and find those things. Just Google rev light bar. Go with a reputable seller. And yeah, make sure you check the mounting and stuff like that, or buy yourself some super glue if you're like your boy. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'm very keen to see what you guys say in the comment section down below. See you in the next one.